Good evening, everyone. I'm back. Welcome to FPL BlackBox ahead of Gameweek 25. I feel like I haven't done one of these in ages, and I'm sorry you all had to be subjected to Andy on his own on a Friday night, jabbering away. I'm being facetious. I loved it. I thought you were great.
Nobody wants to be left alone with me on a Friday night. So
absolutely not.
Apologies to all the people that had to watch that, but I hope you got something from it.
Yeah, it was good. They're not easy, are they? The solo streams. No. You haven't done a huge amount of them, have you?
No, not really. They're tiring. Like when you come off them, you're like, because you've done nothing but non-stop talk. But there was somebody in the comments afterwards saying, God, you say a lot. And obviously when you're on by yourself and someone asks you a question, you're trying to find an answer or something. You do. I say it a lot, but I'm really trying hard not to say it now. So yeah, always something to work on.
There's nothing quite like finishing a stream and being told you do something and then you can't stop hearing it. And I think it makes you do it more, and then you notice it a bit more, and it all goes, it's horrible. It's horrible. I've never noticed you saying that much.
No, when I'm on with people, I don't. But by myself, I think I do a little bit. So I'm trying my best not to.
Well, thanks everyone in the chat. I'm getting some birthday wishes for yesterday. I appreciate all of that. Andy's already serenaded me, for the people asking. Already had a nice little song. Also, the thong song came out as well for a bit, which was
out of context, it sounds bad. Actually, in context, yeah.
Yeah, I think a bit of both. Connor Richardson says, "Where's the tan?" This is me tanned. This is as good as it gets. I was in Dominican Republic for a week, and I was in the sun from like 9 a.m. till about 6. And this is what happens. It's either this or just red. There's no in between. What can I say? I think I'm paler than you.
Was it storm season over there?
Oh dear, it was so nice, but I just can't tan. I don't have the tanning blood in me, unfortunately. OG, your favourite content creator's favourite content creator is back. Welcome back, Charles Phillips. Spelled wrong, but still nice to use my full name every now and then. Hi to everyone. Hope you all got on well in Game Week 24. It was a decent week for both Andy and I. We both obviously come onto this stream with green arrows. One of us with a bigger green arrow than the other. After weeks of complaining, Andy finally got a decent rank rise. We'll cover me first. I got 68 of Verbruggen in goal, Tarkowski with a 3-2, Senesi with an 8. About time. I kept hold of him for so long. Timber with a 5. Chow came in for Saka with a. Is there anything worse, Andy, than a sub coming in with a 0?
Sub coming in with minus points, I would say.
Yeah, it could have been Goodmanson, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Which was very possible for you at one point.
I just you see some people's benches and they just seem to get big hauls, like there's some Andersons coming off people's benches. I mean, obviously I had him with 7, or people getting 7, 8, 9 points. I don't want to complain, but I just never seem to get a decent bench. I'm not expecting much from Chow against Liverpool. Like, I understand that, but when was the last time you had a bit of bench, Jam? Have you had one in the last? Oh, you have. You had
this week.
Yeah.
Literally
was it this week?
Yeah.
Was it this?
Yeah.
Oh no, who was it? It was Kroopy came in.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, Kroopy coming in, ridiculous.
That was awkward.
Andy with 7. Andy, oh God, I told you I'm tired. Anderson with 7. Bruno Fernandes captain with 20. Talk about him a bit more as the stream goes on. Rice with 3. He's been really disappointing since I brought him back in, actually. And then Ekatike, the man, finally coming in with 13. And then Thiago with 2 and Haaland with 5. It's fine. 68 is a decent score. It was like a 400k green arrow. I can't really complain, but when I look around at some other scores and other players people have had, and I'm a little bit frustrated still.
Yeah, there were some points there, but then to be fair, there were also some awful points this week from some teams as well. And also a lot of people watching that first 10, 20 minutes of the City game, I thought I'd made a massive mistake not captaining Haaland, because Spurs looked the worst I'd seen a team in the Premier League for a very long time, and the atmosphere was weird. And I was watching that game thinking, oh my God, City could score 6 or 7 here, and I haven't captained Haaland. So if you had a captain Haaland, that would obviously be even worse there. So I think you did fairly well. Senesi's a nice little 8-pointer at the back there.
That was nice. And they lost the clean sheet quite early, but it was overruled because I saw the notification come in straight away. And I was like, because the Everton-Brighton game was a nightmare, really, because like, obviously didn't get Defcon and then Verbruggen conceding in the 90. That was really frustrating because I was literally by the pool and I was watching the game and I was watching Flash score tick down. And I think it was like 97 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, surely they just hold on to this. And then it just flashes up, big chance for Everton, and I'm like, no, that is no, can't be. My team and my goalkeeper conceding that late was an absolute disaster. But yeah, I mean the main thing was Ekatike, wasn't it? If you had him, you did all right. I very nearly wildcarded. I nearly wildcarded him out. The wildcard that I put together got basically exactly the same points.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think it was like 2 or 3 points worse off than the one I got. So. Yeah, it remains to be seen whether it was worth it. I've lost a lot of team value not playing it, but it's okay. I think I can get through the next few weeks and maybe play it a bit later on. You, though, 85 points. Talk us through it.
Yeah, no, quite happy with this. I said on Scoutcast 2 days ago, I had a good Saturday and a good Sunday, which very rarely happens, and also a good Monday, which is even rarer.
You did. Your boy coming in.
I was exactly. So to be fair, I did have a blank as well. I had Anderson with 0 points, but I did have Raya with 6 and Gabriel with 8. So that was quite nice, obviously, that coming through, especially with Raya outscoring Timber. I had Mukiele play on the Monday night, got an assist. Didn't get any bonus, but did get me 9 points, which was great. Anderson, who I brought in 2 weeks ago for Foden, got me 7. I know we're going to talk about him a little bit later, like you said there. 7 points for him, 2 Defcon, absolutely smashed the game and got bonus as well, 3 bonus. Just, he's such an unbelievable asset. And the amount of people I hear...
He's going on the wall.
The amount of people I hear saying like, oh, he's such a boring pick. I tell you what, he's not a boring pick when you've got other players getting 2s all the time and he's getting you 4, 5, 6s. He's brilliant. So, yeah, Rodgers with 2. He's been disappointing recently. He has been disappointing recently, and Villa have obviously disappointed at times as well. But Enzo with 8 with that late goal, Bruno Fernandes with 20 captain, Ekatike with 13, Haaland with 5, and then Krupi Jr. came in for Saka for 7 points. It's my only bit of bench jam I've had this year, I believe. So 85 points. I was 1.3 million 2 weeks ago, and I'm now 600k. So I'm very, very happy with that. Obviously, 85 points. I don't think my team is overly well set up for this week, so I don't think it's going to be another green this week. But if you'd have offered me 600k 2 weeks ago, I would have bitten your hand off for it. So, yeah, very, very happy. I think the team kind of just, all worked out this week. So, yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, you're back to where you were in Gameweek 16. So
exactly, it's as if Christmas never happened.
Don't know what I'm talking about. It's like at 2.3 million, which is where I was about 15 game weeks ago or something. It can't seem to rise. Yeah, let us know what your scores were in the chat. It was a funny week. There were some low scores. If we look at the great and the good, you can see a full range here. I think you were actually the highest. Oh no, FPL Fraser, look at that, 86. Yeah. So you were second to him. But yeah, scores range from 86 right down to 51 to late riser, and then a hit he took as well. So yeah, he didn't have a great one. One of those weeks where it wasn't a great week to have a bad week, because I mean he went down 320,000 places or something. Oof. So yeah, pretty brutal week. I'm still bottom. You've overtaken Luke.
Yes,
you must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's so condensed between kind of 200k and a million. Like, it really is. And like, you look at mine there, I'm only 28 points behind Mark, and Mark's 276k and I'm 600k. It's really condensed. And even between me and Luke, that's 250 odd k places, and it's only 14 points. Like, if you have one good week, you can jump up a really considerable amount. So, yeah, it's quite condensed. But then what I will say is kind of going above 200k, it does close up a little bit there. But no, I'm fairly happy with it. I was, 800k with 10 weeks to go last year and finished in the top 100k. So anything better than 800k, and I feel like it's still on, exactly. It's amazing how 1 week can really change things around, because you kind of, like you plateau at kind of, that's my phrase, isn't it? You got the ums, I've got the kind of. You get stuck at like 1.1, 1.2 million. You feel like you're just never going to make any ground up, and then you just have 1 week which just halves your rank, and then it's amazing how much you can kick on from there. So it's also nice watching, for instance, loads of people use their wildcard this week. a lot. I think it was 300,000, 400,000 people use Wildcard. So it's a considerable chunk of people that used it. Personally, I don't know whether they really got a lot out of using it, unless they got a big change in their points. But like you said, you would have used Wildcard. You would have got the same points you did this week anyway. And you would now have less information or less able to do things ready for 31 and 32, which is when a lot of people are now going to Wildcard. So, yeah, it's a tough one, really. I think there's still loads of ground to be made up. Loads of ground.
And Colin's just said it in the chat. I don't think anyone who wildcarded would have kept Ekitike after the blanks and everything like that. There was other targets to go for. And now I'm seeing a lot of people wanting to move back to him, after doing it. And it's the same with someone like Thiago. So if you can just get through the next couple of weeks, not taking him out on a wild card, because everyone's going to be bringing him back in 27. So you're already a transfer up on things like that. It's a funny one because normally, I think in a normal season, I would have played the wild card last week because the prices, I looked at the players I wanted, Semenyo and Mbumo, Rodgers, Enzo, they were all going up, and having the stomach to just say, okay, I'm gonna have to probably pay 0.6 more for these players if I wait a little bit is quite tough. But then with the Saka injury, it's well, I don't need any money really at the moment. It's you're not going Saka, you're not going Palmer, even Haaland's on the chopping block for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know, and we say it all the time though, don't we? In terms of that. A week's a long time in FPL. I know they say it about politics, but it's the same for FPL. It so much changes in a week. Last week, like you said, people wanted to sell Ekitike. Wirtz was looking good, but obviously wasn't maybe as good as he has been. Thiago was the go-to second striker. Haaland was still kind of perma-captain, and it's all changing so quickly now. And I think with the extra information you're going to have by 31 and 32, I said it before, I think that is the time to wildcard. 24 as well, obviously we didn't know that Arsenal would have the double game week, did we? Now we do know that, and we also know about the blank in 31 as well. But yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see how it goes moving forward. Obviously, with the big double game week, with the first double game week in 26, we could see some chips being used in that one as well, which again gives you a bit of a chance to make up some ground potentially.
Yeah, I mean, wildcards are going to be useful, aren't they, a bit later down the line, when Man City end up with the double, and maybe Palace have turned a bit of a corner, and Strand Larsen's firing, and all the potentially other double games. I still think it's still such a powerful chip to use around that time, and I don't blame people for using it if their teams are really struggling. Like Sam on Scout used hers, and she's gone up about 1 million places, I think, since she used it. So there's no right or wrong answer to it, but my season is just completely dependent on me getting that wild card right, sort of game week 32, 33, and then kicking on from there.
I think you'll be all right. I think it also as well, knowing that you're going to wild card in 32 means you can dead end into 31, and that changes things as well. There's always, like you said, that you never really know the best strategy until you've done it, and we can kind of guess what's going to happen moving forward. So if you're already wildcarded, you can have a good guess as to which players you should bring in. It just makes it a little bit trickier, and you need things to fall your way a little bit. But the other thing I'll say is if you wildcarded in 24 or 23, whenever it is, you'd be expecting to have some greens in that period because you're so well set up.
Yep.
And then you're going to expect other people to be in a slightly better position later on, because that's how it works, isn't it? They're in a slightly better position now. I'm looking at some teams for 25 and they look incredible compared to mine.
Yeah, I know.
And, I look and think, well, this isn't my week to attack it. This is my week to just hope for a grey arrow maybe, and then, crack on later on. But
I feel like I'm having too many weeks where I'm hoping for a grey arrow. I look at my team. All my best looking teams this season have come earlier in the season when I did absolutely terribly, and actually all of my decent scores have been when I've looked at my team and thought it doesn't even look that
why,
great.
Don't you? You know why? It's because you're embracing Defcon now. So you've got players like Senesi and Anderson who you're looking at thinking, is that exciting? And then they get you some big points.
Senesi, Anderson, Tarkowski, they're all
exactly.
Rice.
That's the thing. Well. I do it though. I look at my team sometimes and think, God, because I've still got my brain from 14 years of what FPL used to be, and I look at it and think, is this a good team? Because we're used to seeing attacking fullbacks and attacking wingers and things like that in our teams, whereas now it isn't. You're supposed to be looking at players and thinking, yeah, they'll get me Defcon, they'll get me a solid score, and it is different, I think.
Well, I mean, the thing is, and we've talked about this before, and there's a lot of criticism aimed at Arsenal for playing boring football and relying on set-piece goals and everything like that. And we've talked about this on BlackBox loads of times. But if you look at the attack data over the season, the historical top six average is 1.87, and there isn't a single team hitting that over the season. So Man City are top with 1.65. So the amount of chances and the amount of goals and everything like that are being created and ultimately being taken is at a 5-year low. And then you add on to that the fact that there's now these extra routes to points from decent defences, and it's like, why is it taking some of us so long to get on board with what's happening with Defcon?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it a couple weeks ago on here as well, saying about all the teams are struggling for strikers as well. Yeah. They don't have those, there's not many teams now that have got a 20 goal a season striker in these top six. Like City obviously have Haaland. Chelsea, are toying with Pedro, Delap, whatever it is. Arsenal definitely don't. It's Gyökeres, Jesus and Havertz now back, so they're kind of sharing the goals between them. United have Sesko, but they're playing Mbeumo up top most of the time. Liverpool, the only ones who obviously have Ekitike, but that's only recently because obviously Isak was always there and we were expecting them to share minutes. So even Bournemouth, they don't. I'm saying Bournemouth because they're sixth. They don't have a striker that's going to score them 20 goals this year. Evan Nilsson is not that kind of striker. So, yeah, I think even the strikers we've trusted before, Mateta wanted away and now he's cropped by the looks of things. Like, they're just not there. You name it, those teams that have all those players that score goals, it just doesn't seem to be there, unfortunately.
And here I am with 3 up top,
talking
about how we should be selling off forwards.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. Like, would you, if you looked at your team and had Thiago, Ekitike, and Haaland, which I think is that what you have?
That is my 3. Yeah.
So, do you look at that every week and think, yeah, that's good because I've got 3 good strikers there? Whereas you could be having a Defcon beast at the back and another, Defcon midfielder like Statch or something like that. Yeah. Is that better now?
It's really tricky, and I think from 27, like I said, everyone's going to have Haaland and Thiago, and then it's what you do with that third spot, whether you move that into midfield or what you do with it. I mean, I think Ekitike is a good option between now and the end of the season, but it is just hard for a striker without penalties to compete with midfielders and defenders who are getting extra ways of getting points. I mean, Ekitike is going to need to score, a goal every other game at least, I think, to be worth it. And Liverpool, they're a funny team. You never really know whether they're gonna click. And
they're
it gets rested as well.
I think. I think they're starting to now. And I think, it could all change again next year when Isak's back. But I think Ekitike and Wirtz is starting to really become a nice partnership there. The only thing I will say is about what we were just saying there is that I think, especially next year in September, if everything stays exactly the same, I think we'll all start to think differently about how we structure our teams. And we'll all have those 4 or 5 players in our team that just plod along, like Anderson, like Senesi. Like, it doesn't matter what their fixtures are, they're just going to plod along with good points every week, and they're your foundation for your points every week. And then you could have 1 or 2 explosive people, and that's it. I think that you've got to kind of, this ticking along of points is way better than someone like Rodgers, for instance, or Thiago, who does it for 2 weeks. Does it for 2 weeks and then doesn't do anything for 5 or 6.
Yeah, so Monkey D. Ben says Anderson is the epitome of what Andy is saying. In the past 4 game weeks, Rodgers has 15, Anderson has 24 points. Explosiveness versus consistency. And I think over the last 6, he's outscored Semenyo, right? Anderson's outscored Semenyo. So, these are potentially explosive picks. But do you think the skill now is? Do you know what, actually, let's come on to the first talking point. We can do Pedro first, but we'll do Defcon first because there has been a lot of talk in the community about it this week. I think some people are pretty miffed with the fact that they haven't got some of these Defcon players and they're doing well, but also they're annoyed at maybe with how the game is moving, in the sense that maybe it is going to be 2 or 3 spots in our teams locked in and we don't have to worry about them. I do think that this year is the sort of trial year, isn't it? Like I don't think Anderson is going to be 5-5 next year. They could push him up to 6-5 potentially 6-6-5.
He won't be playing for Forest anyway, will he? Probably.
Well, no, exactly. I mean, if he's doing what he does for City, and he's getting those, will he get as many though? I mean, this is the thing. It can all change very quickly. Like, we can all sit here and say Defcon's rubbish. It's ruining the game. We're picking all these players, and then next year the attacking stats are all up. There's players scoring hat tricks, and you've got someone like Anderson who isn't even hitting hitting the threshold. So it can change pretty quickly. But I mean, what's your take on it? I mean, like I said, I mean, like Alex Volo, late riser, big names in the community, all having a bit of a pop at what the game is becoming with Defcon, saying we shouldn't really be cheering on players like Anderson. I spoke to Mark about it, and Mark was saying, he thinks it's great. It's you've got one of the top players in the world at what he does in that position, and that's made him a viable FPL asset. Other people say they don't like counting down the Defcons. Other people say they do like counting down the Defcons. Where are you sitting?
I don't think they could have picked a worse season to introduce Defcon. To be honest.
Yeah, and it's true, isn't it? It's exactly right.
That is the crux of it, is that we picked a season where premiums are awful. Like, they genuinely are awful. Palmer's been awful. Saka's not been great. Haaland's on a right dip at the moment. Salah's obviously not been there. So I think that's made a massive difference. In that respect, it also means that the Defcon boys have done better. Like, there's a lot more the defensive data is better, the attacking data's down. So I think that's made a big difference. I think it was something that you had to bring it in and see how it worked over a season. You can do all the data and all the research before. You had to just bring it in and do it at some point. And they've obviously brought it in now. I think there could be some tweaks. I think...
What tweaks would you like?
I need a tweak that means you can pick attacking fullbacks. Like, that's one big thing for me. Like,
that's pricing then, right?
I guess so. But like you said already, the problem is, as soon as you price them up and things change over the summer, all of a sudden, like, for instance, Senesi, I know he was fairly good before Zabani and Howson were there, but nobody expected him to be as good as he was for Defcon. He is ridiculously consistent at getting it, and you've got to somehow price that up over the summer to know whether those players are going to be good, because their teams are going to invite pressure and all that kind of stuff. And it's really hard to gauge that, I think, over the summer. But this happens with attacking players. Like, Harry Wilson. Did we expect Harry Wilson to be as good as he was from an attacking sense this year? If we did, he probably would have been priced a little bit higher. So I think it does happen the other way too. I think pricing would probably have to come into it a little bit, because would you pick, say, for instance, Anderson and Anthony Robinson if he was, still fit? It should be a discussion to be had between those two. But it never would be, because Anderson's so good at getting Defcon. So there's got to be maybe some kind of balancing tweaks there. I would say, personally, I love the fact a player like Anderson is available, because you can watch a game, think he's the best player on the pitch, which he has been quite consistently for Forest, and he's getting points for it. He's also so ridiculously cheap. Just get him. Like, it seems to be working. So yeah, I think there could be some tweaks. The only issue I would have is if they do tweaks and then things change next year, we're just going to have issues again next year. So
because the interesting thing would be, I mean, it's only a few seasons ago when we had like Stuart Dallas, Trent, Doherty, Robertson. It would be very interesting to know where people would go if you could pick these sort of premium fullbacks, or these very attacking fullbacks, or if people had the security. And I think that's what we talked about at the start of the season. Like, it's going to be great to have the option to pick between like a Munoz and a Lacroix, right? They were kind of the main ones, because it was, do you go for the Defcons or do you go for the attacking returns? And to be fair, that was a debate, because a lot of us had different Palace defenders. It was quite as fun as it gets when picking defenders for Palace, because you had Richards at 4-5, you had Lacroix at 5, you had Gahey scoring goals for cheap, you had Munoz, people were doubling up, and all of that, and there was that was perfect for that one team, but there just isn't enough examples of that elsewhere for it to work. There's a few people in the chat saying to raise the threshold for contributions. So do you raise it to 12 potentially for defenders and raise it to 14? For midfielders? I feel like the midfielders one is about
I think
right.
It's good.
And,
I think it's right.
You've got Garner and Anderson who are getting it pretty much every week, and like Casado. But if you raise it too much, they'll still be getting it, and then no one else will get it ever.
And you can tell the balance is right with midfielders, because not everybody owns Anderson.
Yeah.
Because Anderson is ridiculously good at it, but not everybody's owning him. Whereas you look at defence, but then defence is a weird one this year, because apart from Munoz and Timber, what fullbacks really are there you want? Maybe Matty
Timber's
Cash.
got 1 assist in 12 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no one there really holding their hands up and saying, yeah, actually, I'm the one that's going to break that. Munoz was the one, wasn't he? And he was doing it before he was injured. He's back now and has 2 amazing fixtures in, is it 26 and 27, isn't it? Yeah. So maybe he can be that one again. But I just think it's just one of those years. It's a perfect storm year where they've introduced it and they don't have any good fullbacks either. But what we're hoping is that maybe next year we get some more fullbacks back and we've got more choice. But I think the pricing would fix it. What do you think? Do you think the pricing would be the one to fix it? Do you think they need to tweak it in defence?
I mean, the answer, as someone else put in the chat, is just get the Premier League just to buy more attacking fullbacks and change the system. And once that happens, it will all be fine. I think it would be fine as it is now. If that's not going to happen, and you've got to think that they're going to preempt that it's going to be much of the same, then they need to be clever with the prices. The trouble is, if they raise the prices of players and then they increase the threshold, and then you don't get. I mean, no one expected Senesi to be the beast that he is at getting, like he's breaking all the records over the last 7 or 8 years, all the modelling they did, and then you get a player like that coming along. So it's always going to be an anomaly. It's always going to be hard to get right. I do feel like they should raise the bar for defenders. I feel like too many defenders probably do get it. So raise that to 12, but keep midfielders as it is. And maybe just give everyone a bit of a boost on those who are going to do it. I mean, Tarkowski was a good price, wasn't he? Tarkowski was well priced at 5.5.
Yeah, like Murillo and Milinkovic were 5.5 at the beginning, weren't they? So I guess 5 being the minimum you can pay for someone that could be good at Defcon.
That could be,
makes sense.
Centre backs. You just say centre backs probably are going to have a minimum of 5.
Also, with the way the squads are built now, and most teams in the top half having good squads, it's the fact they rotate their fullbacks so much as well, isn't it? It's those centre backs that will play every game. And when you get, I mean, we said this before the season started, when you get players that have got minutes, very secure minutes, can get Defcon, might have some attacking threat, which is what Gabriel's been. We were saying this about Van Dijk before the season. They're just gold, aren't they? And obviously Gabriel is now our premium defender. Centre-back premium defender. What was this, like John Terry days, isn't it?
It's over 7 million you got away from now. And also it's the set piece thing, right? It's like teams are using set pieces more than ever. You've got a team like Arsenal getting them. You've got long throws being used more. There's so much more tactics around the set pieces. Again, it's another thing that feeds into narrative.
And everybody owns Gabriel.
I just wanted to talk about something that I noticed. Yeah, I do now. Thank you very much. Obviously, on the subject of Elliot Anderson, he has been great. He's been amazing for me. I had a quick look at value. So this is points divided by cost. Obviously, to see who comes through. Obviously, the defenders normally do well here because the defenders are cheaply priced and the same as like the goalkeepers. But I mean, if you look at Elliot Anderson's points per 90 of 4.33, it's sort of in and around what we're seeing from other defenders as well. So someone like Gahey's at 5.18 points per 90, Senesi 4.53, Keane 5.02, Chalobah 5.25, even someone like Adorete is higher than him at 4.4. So we're saying that Anderson's like this absolute monster and he should be in everyone's teams, and I'm going a bit mad, but actually, should we be thinking about 4 at the back rather than Anderson when you've got cheaper players? Some of these players I mentioned, like 4.5, 4.6, better value, better points per 90.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Is whether you, because these value players, it doesn't mean that they obviously have been great every single week, and so you're going to have to be benching them at some points. But we said when you got Anderson, so you got Anderson before me, didn't you? You got him 3-4 weeks before me, I think.
Yep.
And we said straight away when you got him, you've just got to play him every week now, haven't you?
That's
and people, I think, have brought Anderson in as the 5th midfielder and keep benching him, or they don't bring him in because they don't want to play him most weeks, whereas you've just got to play him all the time. But I tried about 10 weeks ago to go to a 4 at the back, and that's when I brought Munoz in, and I wanted to just play 4 at the back all the time, because I do think there's merit in it this year. At the moment there is, because I do think you could just play 1 up top most of the time. But even then, Haaland's obviously not been great recently. So yeah, I do think there's some merit in 4 at the back. It's just which 4 and which 4 moving forward. I mean, if you went for a Sunderland defender, every time they play away, they're awful. So it's a hard one. I think you could easily have 5 defenders and rotate 2 of them fairly well till the end of the season, I would have thought.
Well, this is the question mark, right? Because I guess with Anderson, the fixture means nothing. It doesn't matter if he plays Arsenal away or City away, or he plays Wolves at home. You always feel like he's going to hit those 4 points. Whereas if you play Adorete and he's away at City, he's he's going to get 1 point or 2 points. So you effectively need to use 2 spots, I guess, to make sure you're covered each week, because you could have a week. I'm just using you as an example. It's a bad thing, but like your team at the moment's got Mukiele away at Arsenal, right? Playing. Yeah. He's in your starting 11. That's the issue, is that you could end up with a situation where, oh crap, all my defenders actually have rubbish games, and that's going to affect me this week. Whereas with Anderson, you don't need to worry about that. So that's the nice thing about it. But I mean, like someone like Chalobah at 5 million, like I'm absolutely kicking myself for not just getting him in at the start of the season, because that points per 90 at 5.25 is one of the highest. I mean, Ballard's at 5.5, someone like Nunes at 5.4, but he's right up there in terms of points per 90, in terms of value picks. If you've had him all season, you've done great out of him. I mean, 117 points for 5 million at this stage of the season. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It is, and then, this is where, like we were saying, kind of a minimum that those players have to be, I guess, is 5 million. You know, Chalobah would be more than that now next season, but Chalobah wasn't, locked in that defence at the start of the season, was he? You know, the Chelsea defence has kind of been all over the place with who they would play, and obviously he's now cemented and very much cemented, and for good reason. But yeah, there's always value in defence, like you say, because they're always a little bit cheaper anyway. And with Defcon points now, they can be even better value. But like you said, with the midfielders, I mean, Statch has been great. Also, I read Casemiro's got over 100 points this year.
Yeah.
Some of the midfielder points have been crazy. If you can manage to get one of those defensive midfielders now that could score a few points, as in and actually kind of make their way into the box every now and again and get you 2 or 3 goals. I mean, that year when Rodri won Ballon d'Or, he would have been unbelievable in this game to own.
They modelled it, didn't they? I think he was like 210 points or something, 220 points for 6-5. He would have been in absolutely everyone's team. Yeah.
So that's the thing you got to look for next season now, I think. The defensive midfielder that's coming up, or someone buys, whatever it is. Because if Anderson moves to City or whatever it is he moves to, I don't think he's going to be as good an asset.
I think the thing is, though, is like what was the aim of Defcon? It was to bring in like more players and add more diversity, increase the pool. And I think there's some people arguing that hasn't really happened because everyone's got kind of the same players. But I look at this list and I think actually I don't agree. I think it has widened the pool, because I think you could pick 4 or 5 of any of these players and play them in pretty much any given week. And look at the points per 90. Look at the value you're getting. None of these are bad players to own. And we don't always see that, because in previous years, unless if this year we didn't have Defcon, for example, it'd be really hard to pick like some of these players. I don't think we'd be going near like some of them.
I do also think it doesn't help that, like I said before, the Premier League just isn't blessed with lots of really good players at the moment. I genuinely don't think it is. Like I think all the premium players, like we've lost so many good players that were kind of really big. Like Harry Kane's obviously one example, but there's so many of them, and I just don't think we're as good a league in terms of individual quality at the moment, unfortunately. And because of that, it's obviously affected FPL teams as well. So yeah, I do think it's a good. I still like Defcon. I just think it can be tweaked.
Yeah, I mean the three big things, as again has been pointed out by Pajita, is Palmer, Saka, and Salah. There are 3 premium assets in the league, and we're not looking at any of them.
No, exactly.
It was those 3 in Haaland. They were the promised 4, and only one of them has done anything, and one of them isn't even doing anything at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean, value means nothing at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a very strange season. Let's take a look at Pedro. He was the number 1. Can I flash the BBC Sport logo? I didn't even notice that. That's on there now. It's fine. He's obviously very popular. Triple back-to-back. Triple back-to-back? Does that make sense? 3 times in a row he's hit double digits. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. He's obviously very popular, getting a lot of interest. Didn't actually start the last game. Came off the bench. Obviously got a lot of new owners in. Chelsea have still got very, very good fixtures. Over the last 6, he obviously shows up well in terms of FPL points. 34 points he's had over that spell. His stats are decent. He's not the top of anything, and he's actually quite massively overperformed. He's got nearly 2.5 more, 2.38 is expected goal involvement delta. So he's overperforming on his numbers. Touching the penalty area 17. That's not too bad. I mean, you've got someone like Wirtz who's got 41, which is incredibly high. But, someone like Thiago with 35. But you look at some of the other players on this list who've been scoring well, and he's kind of right up there for that. 7 shots, which is better than when he was having less than 1 shot a game. Top of the pile is Thiago with 17 from this list. So like it's been a really, really good run of form for him. He's obviously got a couple of goals, a couple of assists. Chelsea have got really good fixtures. The stats are like okay. The points have been there. What's your take on him? I mean, is he someone that you're looking to bring in?
No, he's not someone I'm looking to bring in, to be honest. I think if they were to have doubled in 26, I think he'd be extremely popular. But I think people are obviously going to make sure that they use their transfers to get the best 3 Arsenal assets for what they think is going to be the best 3. I think them losing 2-0 at half-time to West Ham was actually incredibly important for Pedro, because I think Rossinha realised, Christ, I've got to play. You know, I now know who my best team is, and Pedro's part of it. By the way, for all those that didn't bring in Pedro last week because they thought he was going to be benched, you made a really good decision that was punished by him coming on at half-time and getting a goal and assist. Like, genuinely, that was a really good minutes call. Because it was. I didn't think he was going to play. I said it on the stream. I said it on our Q&A stream. I thought Pedro was a really risky buy. And if you did buy him, and obviously he came on at half-time and got goal and assist, then you got a little bit of luck there. But I've always thought he's a quality player. You've always said you don't really know where his best position is in terms of a 9 or a 10. Chelsea sometimes play him 9, sometimes play him 10. Delap is just a bit meh at the moment, isn't he, for Chelsea?
That's
he played on the right midweek, which was really strange. I think with the fixtures coming up, Wolves, Leeds and Burnley, I get it, but I think there are better people to move to at the moment, and there's more important transfers to make with the doubles coming up as well. So, yeah, I'm not that fussed by him personally.
Yeah, I mean, we said this at the start of the season, didn't we? Obviously, coming up that amazing Club World Cup form that he had. He's a very streaky player. Like he just always has been, and a bit like Foden in a sense. And it's trying to work out whether we've missed it or whether it's going to continue over the next couple. I mean, early in the season, we started with 15 points against West Ham after the blank against Palace, then went on a run, 9 against Fulham, 7 against Brentford, and then he just completely dropped off a cliff like almost instantly. And he was barely registering shots, and Chelsea was still picking up wins and doing quite well, but he just wasn't seem to be delivering. I don't know if Rossini knows where his best position is either. I think he wants him as a 10. Yeah. I've always said I think that's where he is best playing, but he's not going to play as a 10 because they're going to play Palmer there or Enzo. So
I mean, he's got the least amount of minutes on this table.
Yeah.
He's 13, so he's doing a lot with those minutes, but he's got the least amount of minutes on this table, 310, compared to, who's another striker on here? Thiago's on 529, so 200 less minutes over the last 6 than Thiago.
He's been benched. He hasn't started 3 of the last 6, and he hasn't played 90 minutes in 7 game weeks.
Yeah.
So,
and he's not on pens.
No.
So I like I said, with the fixtures, I kind of understand. I think last week was the week to do it, but I also think last week was bloody risky if you went for that. And obviously, like I said, you got something out of it. With the next 3 fixtures coming up, knowing it was a 4-week fixture block, with the fixtures they had, yes, I got why people went there, but I just think it's such a risky one. I genuinely, unless it's Enzo Fernandez or Chalobah, any Chelsea picks are dodgy, I think. And when I say dodgy, I mean risky with minutes, because you just don't know when they're going to play or when they're going to play 45 or 60. So
and
it's
Saturday
a tough
to
one.
Tuesday. It's Saturday to Tuesday. So that Tuesday game, you're no matter who you own, even as an Enzo owner, I still think you're going to have a little bit of trepidation as to who's going to play in that Tuesday. I guess if Palmer starts, that eases it a bit because I can't see Palmer starting at the weekend and on. Is it Tuesday they play or was it on the Wednesday? I can't remember. It's one of them. Either way, I'm not sure it's going to happen. They play on the Saturday and then they play on the Tuesday. Wow, I was right for once.
Yeah, it's Tuesday,
Yeah. So do I want to fill up my team with players that I'm not sure are going to start? Would I select a TK for Pedro? No. Thiago's maybe the one that you could take a bit of a move away from for a couple of weeks.
But like you said, you're going to want him back again.
But you're going to want him back. Yeah, exactly. I want to talk about Verts, but we'll do it in a bit because we'll talk about when it comes to midfielders. Let's talk about Raya. You got very offended at the start of the stream. I said, we're going to talk about your boy. And you were like, Raya, he's not my boy. I
That was
remember
before
I
the
gave you.
stream started.
I know. I gave you a bit of stick for him a while ago because I was like, "Why do you own Raya? There's so many better Arsenal assets to own." You were like, "No, I love owning Raya. It's so much fun." Meow, meow, meow.
No, I did not.
Sounds like you.
Stop it.
You did.
I never said it was fun. I said he is.
No. Okay.
I said he is consistent.
Yes.
And he's always there. He's always there.
Wow, what a compliment to Raya. He just exists.
He does. He does.
Because it is a bit of a talking point this week. Because obviously Saka's injured, and a lot of people are looking to of where to go. There's talk about a triple up in defence. There's talk about who to have get out of Saliba, Timber, Rice, Raya, and all of that. So I guess the question to you isn't so much like, are you going to keep him? Because obviously you are. You're not going to make moves to take him out. But do you think if you were having to make a decision on Saka to get that third Arsenal asset, you would be going to Raya? I mean, this is the goalkeeper season data. Like, he's fine. He's getting 4 points per 90. But, I mean, he is very expensive. It's only slightly higher than Sanchez, for example, who's 1 million less than him. I mean, you can go down to, even someone like, well, you look at Donnarumma about the same price. There isn't a lot in it. Really, there hasn't really been any goalkeeper this season that's really stood up and wanted to be counted, unless you maybe count Roofs at 4-5 where he started the season. So he was the one, I think. But again, I've got Verbruggen and there's no goalkeeper. Like, in some seasons, I've looked at goalkeepers like Pope or Martinez and been like, oh my god, I need to use a transfer to, get one of these things. They're just getting points every week, but don't really seem to be happening this year.
No, not massively. And I think, obviously, this is the year of the defender, like we've mentioned already with Defcon. I think Roofs is the one, but you needed a good rotation with him because away from home, they're not the same as they are at home. At home, you back them against pretty much everybody, but away not so much. So you needed a good rotation for him. Obviously, the other thing as well now, if you bring Raya in now, remember that means unless you wildcard before it or make a transfer again to take him out, you need to have a keeper in 31 as well because what is it?
Well, you loved Dubravka, weren't you?
Well, yeah.
Fulham away.
Fulham away. Brilliant. I personally, I think I mean, there's not going to be many people out there without at least double Arsenal already. I don't think I'd be bringing Raya in. There's a few little murmurs about a Timber injury today, which I'm not sure how substantiated that is.
Well, he wasn't spotted in the training.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So I mean, it'd probably be fine anyway. But I don't think I'd be investing in Raya now. I think 5.9 million for what he is, I don't think is great value. I think probably, Roofs. I still like Martinez personally. I think Aston Villa are having a bit of a struggling time, but I quite like him moving forward. Kelleher's been great value, I think. He really hauls at times as well. So I think there's other ways I would probably go. But yeah, Raya, I don't think I'd be investing now.
See, I feel the opposite.
Oh, God, how's this happened? How's this happened?
I know. I actually feel like this is a good time to invest in Raya.
So hang on, because obviously we had this chat 3 weeks ago, and obviously you were saying Saka would be in your 3, wouldn't you, for the double game week? Turns out I was right. You wouldn't have Saka.
That's a bit much. But
Rice, Gabriel, and then so if you already had Rice and Gabriel, and you could move to Raya or you could move to Timber, you would move to Raya.
I'd get Raya. Yep.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
because I don't think Timber's justified the money for how much he is. He doesn't. We've been talking about Defcon all this time. And he's not this like. I think he's been a bit unlucky, but his underlying stats aren't great. If you look
I was just about to say, can you bring up the defender last?
Well, if you look at him over the last 6, I don't think he's in the top 20 because I was looking for him. Oh, there he is, 24th. So an XGI per 90 of 0.14. That's pretty low. He doesn't get Defcon, and he costs 6.3 million.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of money, and I think it's being overlooked because of how good he was.
Rye is known for getting Defcon and good XGI, isn't he?
Yeah, but the difference is though that you have to have a goalkeeper like I've got with Verbruggen, who is pretty useless, let's be honest, and it's a pretty big upgrade on him. And also, you take that defender spot that you would have used for Timber, and you get in one of these other players who's cheaper and getting the Defcon points.
Like who? Who would you get in instead? Because obviously, the other thing with Timber is he's got the double in 26. Will he play both is another question, because obviously Ben White is there waiting. But who else would you get in?
Well, I think you can look at Collins from 27 with the fixtures Brentford have got.
He was benched this week.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to... He's still... Oh, well, okay.
I'm just being mean. I'm just being mean, mate.
Get Van der Berg then if you don't want to risk it. But I think Collins from 27 is a really good pick. I think you get a Sunderland defender. You get like your boy You can look at Mukiele if you haven't got him. You've got Tarkovsky getting Defcon most weeks. You've got Senesi. Bournemouth have got some great fixtures. I think there's plenty of options that you can go to that don't necessarily. You're going to have Gabriel, so that's 4. And then you play the fixtures. And you bring in a player who's got good fixtures. Actually, if we come over to Lega Mane's guide over the next sort of 6 going up to that another international break. For game 31. Oh, don't fancy that. You bring in a Chelsea defender this week. You go for Chalobah. You get him in. I don't know. I just feel like it's not as. I've been really disappointed with Timber. I've had Timber for ages, and it's just not really worked. And I do think we're at a time now where we might see a benching, particularly over the next 3 game weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if Timber missed one entirely of the next 3, and you won't get that from a lot of other players that I've mentioned.
Like I said, I'm going to quite vehemently oppose what you said, and I think Timber is a much better option than Raya. Even though there could be a benching in there, I just think Raya, what are you going to get? Like, I've got Raya, and I've got no intention of getting rid of him because he's not worth moving out for a transfer. But I am getting rid of Saka, and I could, if I wanted to, go to triple defence. So I could use 2 moves in the next 2 weeks and get my triple defence if I wanted to. But I still think Timber is, if I was picking now and I had Gabriel and Rice and I had to pick between Timber and Raya, I would definitely be going Timber, because I think you can get such better value out of any of those keepers more than Raya. I say any, obviously you'd have to pick the right one, but
yeah,
I feel like you could. Kelleher's absolutely killed it for points at points, and I think that would be the way to go, because Timber, I know what you're saying, that he has disappointed recently. But for me, I just look at Timber most weeks and think he could do absolute bits any week. And if it's in a double game week, he could outscore Raya in one game, even though Raya's got two games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to just look at previous points and things, but if you look at Timber's, right, like I said, 1 assist in 12 weeks, that isn't enough. That isn't enough to compete with these players who are getting 2 points. Even every other week. I mean, Limchi says in the chat, no chance Raya and Collins is better than Kelleher and Timber. I don't know. I think it's really close. I think it's from 27. Obviously, the next 2 for Brentford are poor, but I really like Collins from 27.
You're also assuming that Arsenal do keep 2 clean sheets in that blank, in that double.
Yeah.
And if they don't, even if they concede in just one of them, Timber can still get points. And you look at his heat maps, he is ridiculously far forward a lot of the time. Whereas Raya, as soon as that clean sheet goes, that's it. And it happened a lot over Christmas.
He's not getting the save points. Yeah,
exactly.
Points. Yeah.
So that's I think if I was picking between the 2, it'd be Timber. 100%.
It's interesting how much we've swapped around on
considering
that.
we own the opposite players as well. I own Raya and you own Timber.
Yeah. It's very strange. Aaron Pickering says, Timber not seen in training today. Should we be worried? It's so hard to know with Arteta and these training images. It's hard. I think there's every chance Ben White plays a game coming up. Whether that's, I imagine that's going to be an FA Cup game, but there is always a chance when there's so many games coming up that he does play one. But I don't know. I think it's close. It's interesting that we disagree. I would say go for Ray. You'd say go for Timber. A few people mentioning Saliba as well. So Fran 90 says, how about Saliba being better value than Raya? And Nailed, I wouldn't even consider Saliba.
No, I think he's probably 5th, 6th best option for them.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? He's had a funny,
no Defcon, no attacking threat.
He's had a funny season, but he's back in the team. He is playing. But I mean, when was the last time he got Defcon? He got Defcon.
Was it when Gabriel was out? Did he get it once?
He's had, here you go. He's had Defcon once this season, and that was game week 1.
Oh, wow.
I didn't realise it was that bad. And I think that's why you can't consider him, right? You either go for Timber and you hope that he starts hitting some good numbers. You go for Raya just for the safety and the security and defence. I can't see a reason to go for them, and like Calafiori, someone like that, you're never going to be sure they start.
It's a shame with him. I would have loved to have gone Calafiori. He loves a shot as well, so it's a shame that because I don't think he'll play both games, unfortunately.
With Hincapi and Lewis Skelly as well. Yeah, I think it's just too big a risk. The final talking point I've got is on captains. So before we look at some of the data, just thought I'd get your sense of where your captain is at. I mean, it looks like we've now at a point where we can not just captain Haaland every week.
Yeah,
Which
we're gonna
is
have
weird.
another perma captain though.
Well, look at the great and the good. Every single person went for Bruno. I think it's going to happen again this week.
Yeah,
because it's a home game versus Liverpool away. Next week it's going to be an Arsenal player. Everyone's going to be an Arsenal player, but there's some discussion about which one to go for. Is it Gabriel? Is it Rice? Do you take a punt on Timber? Something like that. But then from there, I think it's wide open.
Why didn't you mention Raya?
Shut up.
That's weird.
I'm just, if you've got an appetite for pain, then go for Timber. I don't think anyone's going to be capturing Timber or Raya, to be honest. No. It's going to be Rice or Gabriel, right?
I think Bruno is the best player in the game at the moment, basically. But in terms of midfielders and strikers, I think he is. I think I don't, like you said, in Gameweek 26, obviously there's doubles, so you're not going to captain him then. But I just think with the fact he's playing in the 10, and it's been so long since he's played in the 10, with the fact that he's got Mbumo and Cunha, and when Sesko comes on, he's got the Arsenal around him as well. I genuinely think he's the best asset in the game now. And I think the fact that his resurgence in the 10 has come around at the same time as Haaland starting to struggle, he just fits the bill to be your captain most weeks now. It's a shame that obviously we do have the double in 26, but what if because United have got West Ham away in that one. They've got, to be fair, United have 2 away games in 26 and 27 in West Ham and Everton, but then Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Aston Villa. I just think he's such a good asset to own moving forward. You've mentioned there about 26, by the way, about captaincy for Arsenal. Are you going to be captaining? I mean, we're not talking about just captaincy in that game week either, are we? Because it's going to be triple captaincy for a lot of people. Are you on triple captain Gabriel?
I hadn't even thought about triple captain. No, I don't think so. I think there'll be a better opportunity for it, don't you?
When?
Well, when the doubles come around in the 30s. I think I'd rather use the bench boost.
I don't think there's going to be enough doubles though. That's the problem.
Yeah. What you're thinking? Do you know what? I hadn't even thought about it. What, triple captain Gabriel or Rice in 26?
Well, yeah, basically. I mean, I think Gabriel's the one that obviously makes the most sense probably in terms of what you're projecting.
Do you remember the last time we were triple captain a defender?
Yeah, no, I know.
Shane Duffy.
I didn't do that, but I can see why people would be, having some trepidation against it, because central defender, two away games as well. But imagine the first game, clean sheet, Defcon gets a goal, and then he's got one more game yet. Look at your face. Yeah. You're tempted, aren't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, my big... I hadn't even decided whether it's Gabriel or Rice that I'm going to be giving it to. I'm hoping for a bit of an audition from Rice this week, because it's been quite poor over the last few. And Gabriel doesn't need stats, does he? You always feel like they're going to come. I mean, one thing is, if Saka is out, it does affect Gabriel from set pieces. I mean, Saka is so good at those corners.
Yeah, Rice
I know
on
Rice
one
is
side,
the main.
I guess.
Yeah, he's still got the Rice, but Madueke scored from a corner, didn't he? The other day.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I don't feel like his corners are quite as
Imagine though, Rice triple captain Gabriel whips it in. Gabriel header.
I can imagine it. I can imagine lots of things in FPL. None of it ever happens.
Yeah, it's true.
What will actually happen is Brentford score early on, and then he gets an injury, and then he misses out against bloody Wolves.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. There's a few people saying they're on Gab in 26. I mean, is that what you're thinking then? Are you thinking Gabriel triple?
Definitely Gabriel captain. It's just whether I triple captain him. It's whether I look and think, because I don't think the doubles are going to be as good as we think in terms of the volume of them. And I think that triple captain in 26 might be our best chance. Best defence in the league. Got 2 cleanable fixtures.
Cleanable fixtures.
Cleanable fixtures.
Cleanable fixtures. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
The reason I wanted to show the captain matrix as well is because I think it's a shame that we haven't really got, and we have got Bruno, so that's nice. But now it feels like everyone's just moving to Bruno.
Yeah.
Good for me, probably at my rank of 2.3 million, because I think people will stick with Haaland. There is a small part of me that thinks if I'm not captaining Haaland, maybe I should just get rid of him. And maybe that's my difference maker against people, but then I think that's scary. maybe I won't do that.
What was he? 150% this week.
Yeah,
he'll be less than that this week.
Yeah.
So he's slowly going down to not hurting you, not captaining.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if we are looking at Bruno thinking he's the best asset in the game, we're looking at doubles and blanks, all this stuff. Maybe he isn't the essential option that he has been obviously for so long. But I look at this list, and other than Fernandes, I'm like, if you want to take a punt on someone, who do you go to? We don't really trust Pedro. Enzo Fernandez depends on whether he's playing the 10 or not, and we never really know whether he's going to be playing there or not with Palmer. Good option, but captain-wise, I mean, you did well with him the other week, but difficult to get every week. I mean, Ekitike looks great, but again, he hasn't got the penalties. Rodgers just seems so hit and miss in terms of the points that he gets, and has kind of always been like that. So, yeah, it's hard to know. Like, we've finally got this opportunity to go away from Haaland. It's like, oh, now we're all just going to go for Fernandes.
I think Enzo is captainable. I think Enzo is captainable if we think Palmer isn't playing. Yeah. I think he's captainable then because he'll play in the 10. He's on penalties. I think that's not too bad. I actually do think Ekitike is captainable as well. I know he doesn't have the penalties, but I think he is. I think in the nice fixtures he's got, so what's he got? Especially for 28, he's got West Ham at home, then he's got Wolves away. I think you could captain him in those ones, potentially. But it's just a shame that, like we were just saying before, the premiums are out. So we've got no... Salah should be in this list, shouldn't he? Not even Saka should be in this list. Yeah. And it's... Unfortunately, they're not. But I do think Enzo and Ekitike are captainable. But I think Bruno and Haaland are still going to be kind of, dominating our lists.
Yeah. Tahiri says, I'm going to captain Wirtz, which I think is interesting. Because if we look at mids over the last 6, Wirtz shows up really, really well on this. I showed earlier the amount of penalty area touches having, 40. That's a league high. That is incredibly high. I mean, you think about strikers like Thiago, he's having more touch in the penalty area than someone like him, and a lot of the time it feels like Thiago is sort of camped in that area, but Wirtz is finding his way into the dangerous areas. His XG per shot is 0.15. That's one of the highest out of all the midfielders that we look at. He's creating chances at a decent rate. He's kind of doing everything that you would want from a midfielder, and his baseline bonus is really high. It's not actually on this chart, but when he gets something, he tends to get bonus as well. And you said it earlier, they're starting to click, right? Liverpool are starting to work out. I mean, the Wirtz and Ekitike partnership is a pretty frightening partnership because he's a clinical finisher, and Wirtz is like an unbelievably good creative player who players need to mark because he's got such quick feet and he can dance around so many people. So I think it's a partnership that's going to continue to go straight. I think having Salah back does help as well, that partnership, because you can't just leave Salah on his own and... They didn't really have that same threat, did they, when he wasn't in the side? So I think that's good for him. And I was talking to Sam on the Q&A for Scout earlier, and she sold him last week, and she's massively regretting it.
Yeah, I bet she is. I think there's an awful lot of people that are moving from Saka to Wirtz. They're not going on Rice yet. They're getting Wirtz. I mean, I did think about it. I did think about moving Saka to Wirtz and then going to triple defence for the double. I think that's viable. Obviously, that's if we think Timber's going to start both, but. The thing that I most like about Wirtz is that he does have Ekitike there and that he is building up that partnership with him, and they're starting to look quite deadly together. I think Wirtz's minutes are extremely secure as well, which is good to see. I think Salah's been poor since he's been back. I know you said it's important in being there, but I think he's been quite poor. I think he's looked off the pace since he's been there. I think Gakpo, fans are starting to get their way, and Gakpo's starting to be edged out a little bit because obviously Liverpool fans aren't massive fans of Gakpo, and I think we're seeing that Wirtz and Ekitike is the better duo there. So I think
that's putting it mildly about Gakpo. The fans seem
they do not
massively
like him
in this case. No.
I think Wirtz is a really good shout. I mean, with Liverpool's fixtures coming up, they got Man City this week, which I think there will be goals in that game. But then their fixtures are quite nice for the next 3. Sunderland away, which I've said already, Sunderland playing at home is tough for anybody. But then Nottingham Forest away, it's from 28 onwards, I think. That's where I like it. And I don't think I'd be prioritising Wirtz over getting an Arsenal player you want, because Arsenal have got Sunderland at home this week, which I think is a nice fixture. So, I get the hype with Wirtz. I think he's settled in now and he's starting to look very good.
Well, I think in the same way that you want Thiago from 27... because the fixtures are really nice, I think you need to be looking to get at least one Liverpool player from 28, because it's not just what we show on here. So 28 to 31 is West Ham, Wolves, Spurs, Brighton. Mm-hmm. There are goals in all 4 of those games, like for Liverpool, guaranteed. We'll concede to them 100%. maybe Wolves away is the toughest one out of those four, given some of the defensive stats I'm going to show in a minute. But then after that, it's Fulham, Everton, Palace, Manchester United, like right the way down to 35. There's games in which you think they could score. I'm going to double on them. I think I'm going to go for Ekitike and Verts during that run, and
who are you losing for Verts?
Well, at the moment I've got I've got Rice and Anderson, haven't I? So and Enzo. So probably Enzo, because of the fixtures from 28 turn Arsenal, Villa, Newcastle, Everton. It's not the best run. So I wouldn't be too fussed about losing any of them. Any of those four. I think Fernandes is the only one that I would definitely keep. I'd be looking at having Ekitike, Thiago, probably Haaland still, Fernandes, and then the rest of it is completely up for grabs. What I go for. I've got to make some moves around that time and try and by the time it gets to game week 28, 29, there's not many weeks left.
I mean,
to try and push up.
If he does well in the next three, I don't think it's going to be as much of a differential
that's
move
true.
as you want it to be. That's the
very
issue.
True. I'm hoping that the next three, like I don't love those three games. Like you said, Sunderland away is tough. Nottingham Forest, who knows what you're going to get out of them? But I sense that he's starting to have a bit more of a say in in getting them playing how they want. I don't think Vitz goes nuclear in those three games. I could be completely wrong. Maybe he does, but
the way I'm looking at it there, I think Liverpool are going to score more goals against City than they do against Sunderland and Forest.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was the case. Yeah, I think that City game is the main one, and hopefully people buy Vitz after that, get frustrated with him after Sunderland and Forest, and then I'll be able to bring him in after that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you said to look on the optimistic side, so let's just keep doing that. Actually, just to come on to the defence, because I mentioned Wolves very briefly. So just looking at defence over the last six, I was quite surprised to see Wolves in third over the last six. Previous six difficulty of like 14, so they've had tough fixtures. 0.86, actually non-penalty per 90. That's good. That's higher than Arsenal, for example. If I told you before Edwards took over that they would be putting in data that was higher than Arsenal over a 6-week period, I think you would have been quite surprised by that. I mean, we're looking at someone like Enzo and lots of Chelsea players being brought in, but it might not be the landslide victory that we think. I think Bournemouth were a little bit lucky, I think, to keep a clean sheet in that game and win that game so comfortably. I think getting rid of Strand Larsen can only really be a good thing. I know he's arguably like their best striker, but he's been a bit of a sour patch kid, isn't he?
I mean, the big thing, I guess, now with Wolves is, are you tempted to invest in one for 26?
That's a good question.
Forest away, Arsenal at home. They've got, Mosquera. They've got Bueno. Like any
God, you're really clutching here, aren't you?
I know. I wasn't convinced of myself saying it either, but obviously they're there. They do have a double game week. Their defensive data looks good. If you had a Dorgu, for instance, would you move from Dorgu to one of their players for free?
I really don't think so. Do you? I can't see it. I mean, who's their other? They've got Forest away and Arsenal. I mean, Forest away isn't terrible, but I mean, who do you get? I mean, you've listed some names, but who do you get? I mean, in midfield, a player I was really wanting to own at some point this season, Zarius. He's bloody leaving.
He's gone.
He's off for 25 million. You mentioned Agbadu's off as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not great. So
Bueno, and who was the other one I mentioned just then? Mosquera.
Yeah. I mean, or you look in the forwards over the last six, you look at Mane. Obviously. Yeah. He's not even in the top 20 for XGI on penalty per 90.
But Oracle Daire is 14th.
Well, he's the model. He's the model pick.
Is he?
He is. He is the one that the models seem to like over Mane.
He's 5.4 million though.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're playing like Mane's 4.5, isn't he?
Are you going to go for him over Krupi at 4.7?
No.
I don't know. Yeah, I just think your transfers can be used better elsewhere. I won't be having any Wolves players on my list, but yeah, I mean, maybe if you like look at those last six stats, you might be interested. I mean, over the season, Wolves are sort of mid-table, so they are definitely improving. They were right down in the mire. They are definitely a better team since Edwards took over, but they have still conceded 45 goals.
Surely there's one Wolves player that hits 10 points in the double game week.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
said with no conviction
probably.
whatsoever. I mean, attack over the season, they're 19th. Over the last 6, they are 18th. So attack-wise, things haven't exactly got a lot better. I don't know. I just think there's especially losing those 2 assets as well. They're just ready, aren't they? They're ready to be relegated.
Oh yeah.
It's a shame. I mean, looking at defenders, if you were making defensive moves this week, is there anyone that kind of stands out to you?
I think Senesi is going to start coming into an awful lot of teams. Bournemouth, even though Arsenal have the double game week, actually for the next 6, let me just make it the next 6. Yeah, Bournemouth is still top for fixtures over the next 6. And I think with everything we've said with Senesi, with Defcon and everything, I think he's a good shout. If you don't want to go Senesi, I think James Hill is equally as good. 3.9 million he is. So James Hill's not too bad. I mentioned on Tuesday, Jimenez is still playing right wing for Bournemouth. So if you don't fancy Defcon and you want to go for these flying wingers, he's playing right wing for Bournemouth at the moment and he's 4.5 million. Apart from that, I think Munoz will start coming into our thoughts because of the fact they've got Burnley and Wolves at home in 26 and 27. And if you can get your 3 Arsenal set by 25, in 26, having a little punt on Munoz might be quite fun. The only thing you have to remember is, if that's the case, that you bring Munoz in 31, there's still the very high chance that he blanks. So obviously you've got to remember that by 31 he's going to be an issue for you. There is a slight possibility he doesn't blank, because if Palace and City both go out in Europe, they might play in 31 still. But there's every chance that doesn't happen, and obviously they blank anyway. So Munoz is also a little bit of a shout. City fixtures aren't too bad, but I don't think there's any defenders I would go with there. Gahey is not too bad in terms of minutes, but Defcon's obviously worse there. So yeah, I think Senesi, Matty Cash is there, I guess, at Villa, but I'm not a massive fan of that one either. Chalobah with the next 3 fixtures isn't too bad, but he's not exactly cheap anymore. So yeah, those are probably my lot.
I love this comment from
I've just seen that as
Tashin. Who the F is James Hill? Well, James Hill he's one of the cheapest players in the game. He's come into the team and he's playing alongside Senesi, and actually he's outscoring Senesi for 0.9 less. He's a Defcon machine, just like Senesi is. He's averaging over 10 Defcons per 90, so he's hitting that target. There's not really much not to like. Takes long throws. He's got good fixtures. He can free up funds for other players. So
the only thing I'd say is, looking at the fixtures, I'm not expecting many clean sheets. So he's going to have to be getting Defcon, but he has been really good for it as well. So yeah, I think James Hill, even if it's just kind of, because if you're wildcard in 31, you're picking players now just for 6 or 7 game weeks. That's the other big thing, isn't it? So I think James Hill is a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's 43 goals conceded for Bournemouth so far this season. The XG non-penalty conceded per 90 isn't that great. I was called out, rightfully so, a few streams ago because I was slagging off Bournemouth's defence, and someone said, no, they've actually got one of the best defensive records at home in terms of the underlying numbers. And that is completely true. At home, they do put in good numbers, much better than they do away. It's interesting that we see that with quite a few teams, Sunderland and everything like that. It's not quite as pronounced. I don't think, but it's definitely up there. But over the last 6, things have got better. I mean, they're 8th. They've had really tough fixtures. 2, they've still conceded 10 goals, which is right up there again. But the numbers do indicate they could improve. I think there's clean sheets on the horizon, just given how good the fixtures are for them. And I think Hill at 3.9, like, I've got Goodmanson. It's like, what am I doing with him? I'd much rather have Hill. There's no discussion.
It's weird we're in the position this year where we can say clean sheets are a bonus for these central defenders. So both Senesi and James Hill, if they get a clean sheet, then you're going to get a great score from them because they're most likely going to get Defcon. Senesi, by the way, like you said, he is just unbelievable for Defcon. I think he's averaging over 12 a game for Defcon this season. I know we were talking about Bournemouth, but Chelsea in 18th for the last 16 defence. We've mentioned Chalobah a few times. He is good for Defcon as well, but Chelsea 1.63 XG non-penalty conceded per 90. Wow.
They drive me mad, Chelsea, because look at them over the season. 1.36, they're 18th. Like, these are like, they're not a great defensive team, but they've just kept so many clean sheets. Like they've conceded 7 goals less than they should have done, which is, you would think it's unsustainable, right? But
Yeah.
I think people just don't really care about it because they've got the most amazing next 3 games, and then afterwards, I think a lot of people are gonna ditch them. I think if you've had Chalobah or Sanchez or someone, and you've got them for the next 3, and then you look to part ways, I think you've absolutely nailed it. But you've got to hold your hands up and say you've been a bit lucky.
But they've been like this all season, though, haven't they? No, I didn't. What did she say?
Yeah, the walk past and said up the Blues, as you can hear me slagging off the Chelsea defence.
But they've been like this all season, haven't they? You know, we mentioned, what was it, the Bournemouth lad, Josh King goal, wasn't it? That was ruled out, and they've done that.
I'm still not
season.
over that. I'm still not over that. Or Eze's goal.
Yeah.
For Palace, that got ruled out because of an infringement.
Because of the wall. Yeah. So no, they do this a lot, and I think people that avoided Chelsea defence, kind of maybe rightly so, because everything is pointing to the fact they're not great, to be perfectly honest. But like you said, in the next 3, what are you expecting clean sheet wise? Wolves, Leeds, Burnley. 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to say, haven't you? Even looking at this data, you still think with those fixtures, I think Leeds are the toughest one there, and maybe Leeds score. I wouldn't be totally surprised if they got 3 out of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, no, I would.
I started King that game, says Fixter, the Mixter. Yeah. Not Fixer the Mixer, I just read it wrong. His name's the Mixter. Forwards then, over the last 6, we talked about Ekatike. Look at that XGI per 90. It's absolutely beautiful, 1.19. Yeah. That's the highest of all players that we've shown today. Sisco, 0.91. A player we haven't mentioned is Mbumo, who is very popular in terms of the transfers in. Was he there on the previous 6? Was he in the top 20? Don't think he is.
Nope.
Let me double check that. It was weird that Mbumo wouldn't be there. But do you think there's any risk with Mbumo's minutes, given that Sisco keeps scoring off the bench? Do you think Mbumo just starts?
Yeah, Mbumo starts.
Up top, on the right?
Up top or up on the right. Yeah, exactly. I think he's absolutely fine for minutes. He's not always playing 90, which is obviously a little bit of a shitter for him, but I think Mbumo's absolutely fine security-wise. Absolutely fine.
Are you looking at him? Are you thinking of getting him?
No. I've got other moves I need to make, basically. So no, I'd love to have him. And obviously United are in kind of 4th gear at the moment in terms of attacking sense. And if they keep conceding as many goals as they are as well, I think they're going to have to keep up this attacking. But
I know why Mbumo isn't on this chart. It's because he hasn't played enough minutes to get in. Didn't play 3 of the last 6.
Yes.
Thank you, Connor Richardson. That is exactly what happened. Yeah, I've got.
Where would he be though?
Don't put me on the spot like that. I don't know. It'd be somewhere.
But no, I think he's a great shout.
I think that's my expert analysis of doing this for all these years. I'll find out for you. Give me a second.
That's all right. I mean, I still put Mbumo above Cunha. I think Cunha's done well recently, and he's done well off the bench recently as well. But I would still put Mbumo above Cunha.
Keep talking because I'm gonna just get this.
Sesko has looked good coming off the
Thanks,
bench.
Andy. So you got practice at this now.
His XGI per 90 is second on this list for the last 6, but obviously that is helped by the fact he's played less than 300 minutes, so that has helped there. But I don't think Sesko is in a position where he's going to be starting regularly. Even if he does start to do that, and Mbumo will be playing on the right anyway. So I think it's absolutely fine. Cunha on the left and Mbumo on the right, and then Bruno. And I mean, Ahmad. The thing is, Ahmad's the only one that provides natural width, which is where the kind of issues can start. But you just feel like Ahmad's a bit more benchable than Mbumo.
Yeah, Ahmad's been really impressive, though. He's a really good player.
I love Mbumo. I love Ahmad. I think he's brilliant. He was great at AFCON as well.
Over the last 6, Mbumo would be 9th for XG, non-penalty penalty. Can't quite work out for the others, but he would be 9th. So that is good.
I mean, it kind of says what I said. You know, I would put him above Cunha. I think out of all the midfielder picks, Bruno is comfortably top, and then a little bit below that is Mbumo, and then Cunha below.
If I could have afforded it, I would have done Saka to Mbumo.
Yeah.
But to get Gabriel, I didn't have enough money to do it. So again, my team value is low, and I wonder how much that could hurt. I was kicking myself though because I nearly did Saka to Mbumo last week, even before we got obviously the Saka pulling up in training. And when I knew I was going to get Chow off the bench and I was like, oh, and Mbeumo's going to play and do really well, I was really annoyed. He ruined my holiday, not going to lie. And then Mbeumo blanked anyway.
If you didn't own either, if you didn't own Mbeumo or Wirtz, who's the better pick at the moment?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question, Andy. That's why we get you on these, asking the big questions. It's bloody close, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is now.
I think you go Mbeumo now.
Yeah.
Spurs at home, and they're riding the wave of Carrick coming in. Then it's West Ham away, isn't it? And that's when Wirtz has got Sunderland. Mm-hmm. Who's United's next game after that?
We got Spurs, West Ham, Everton, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I prefer West Ham, Everton, and Spurs.
It's close. I mean,
it's very close.
Do you think it's close when you put Rice into it as well? Then,
do you know what? I'm Rice's biggest fan. Like in terms of FPL, like I sold him. I regretted it. I bought him back, but he is that sort of player. Like Anderson just sits there, and every week I look at him and I'm like really happy with him. But Rice, I've always got that trigger finger on him where I just think when he blanks a couple of games in a row, because you watch him play and he plays like a DM, and it's like, I'm paying 7-4 for this. It's all right with Anderson paying 5-2, 5-3, but with Rice, he's entering into like mid-tier like pricing. Well, he's mid-tier pricing. So he's been compared now to like a Rodgers, a Semenyo, a Wirtz, and Mbeumo.
Where's Rice on the last 6, by the way, in midfielders? I'm assuming he's not top 20.
No, he's way down. Oh no, he's 12th. Yeah. There you go, he's 12th.
Oh, yeah.
0.46 over the season. He's right down. He's 34th over the season. 0.35. Actually, over the last 6, it has improved. It's up to 0.46.
So basically, the question is,
still living off those 2 goals though.
If you've got Saka, considering the fact Rice has got the double game week in 26, who is the better pick? You've already picked Mbeumo over Wirtz, so would you be picking Mbeumo over Rice and then getting a defender instead for Arsenal?
Well, this is why I think some people are considering tripling up on Arsenal, right? Arsenal defence.
Yeah.
Because you could go Raya, Gabriel and Timber and use those midfielder spots because there's so many options now to go for a more attacking player. I don't hate it. I don't hate it as an option. I think if I was buying one now and I didn't have Rice, I would buy Rice.
Yeah. I think it's probably just the move that makes the most sense. Personally,
you get an extra game, I think. And then you move him on after that if you don't want him.
And he will play both games. I mean, there's people saying about he's knackered and stuff like that. He's going to play both games, isn't he?
Yep. What would your order be then for those 3 if you were buying now?
If you're buying now, I think Rice has got to be top because, like you said, he's got an extra game, so he's got more opportunity to do stuff. I think it's really close between Wirtz and Mbeumo. I think I'd probably just edge Mbeumo above Wirtz as well. But I think from 28, I think, like you said, you'd want Wirtz.
Yeah. I think 27 and 28 is going to be a really interesting part of the season because we're going to be switching things. There's another fixture. Like we've had the fixture thing obviously with Chelsea and with a few other players, but City start getting a good run from there. Palace have got a good run. There's options to switch it around. I wonder if I might play my wildcard around that time or whether I will wait a bit longer. Might
Please
see how things land. Please do. Thanks. I think the final one to touch on, we've done the last 6, haven't we? There's not a huge amount to talk about this season. No, the only other one to talk about over the last 6 is Haaland. Have you ever seen Haaland this low? Egg sharp 90 of 0.4?
No, and he's
lower than Rice.
He keeps doing it, doesn't he? He's kind of dropping in the data. I mean, it does worry me, that game against Spurs. They just don't seem to have that killer instinct they used to have. That would have been a game for City where they'd have said, let's score 7-8 goals against this Spurs team. I mean, the fans, it was almost like a silence of expectation in that game where the fans were just sat there waiting to be pummeled. It was like you on holiday after a few daiquiris, lying in bed just waiting for it
to get pummeled.
To get pummeled,
Bloody
exactly.
Hell.
And did you? No, exactly.
Spurs came back resort I went to
draw 2. I booked it for you. No, and it just didn't happen. And that's majorly worrying for me. I just look at it and think, my God, like that Spurs team was just there for the taking. They went 2 up. It's the first time ever. It's the first time since 2018, I think it was, that they were 2 up and haven't won the game.
Is the other worrying thing as well that City seem to be doing better when he plays Marmoush?
Oh, I don't know. You're going to play Haaland, aren't you? So he's still ridiculous. It's just not working at the moment. The big question is this going to continue? So up until 31, 32, when people are going to wildcard, is it worth, like you said, keeping hold of Haaland? Because they've got Fulham at home in 26, but you're not going to captain him that week anyway.
Nope.
You've got Newcastle at home in 27. Could do. And then obviously Leeds at home in game week 30. So there are captainable fixtures there, but is he worth 15 million? Thing is, there's no one else to move to, I guess, is there?
No.
And there's nowhere to use the money. So
This
you
is the
just
thing.
keep him and don't hurt rank.
I think your option is you move that spot round and you try and catch a Ekitike Hall, a Pedro Hall. But if it was a midfielder, I think it's easier because we've talked about some of the options that we like.
Yeah.
You know, you can move them to Verts, move them to Mbeumo, move them to right. You know, move those 3 round. But it's not. It's a forward. So you've got to, if you want to capitalise on it, you take the money out and put it into midfield. But then what do you do when you want Haaland back and he starts delivering again? You've then got to make more transfers to taking. I don't know. I think it's tough with him.
That Fulham game, by the way, in 26. Do you remember the last time they played Fulham? And Luke said, I forgot that Fulham just roll over for City every time they play them. So I'm expecting, and he did it this year already, hasn't he? Where he scored a brace, 40, I think, against them.
14 points. Yeah.
So, but you're not captaining him in 26 anyway. So,
yeah.
I don't
hate the idea of selling him. I don't hate it.
Will he be 100% EO in 26? Will he drop below 100%? Because obviously Arsenal have a double game week. We've still got a lot of engaged managers. Most people will captain or triple captain in 26. So will Haaland drop below 100%?
I think he probably will still be higher. Because I think people will look at Gabriel and Rice and not have the same trust. If it was Saka, maybe there's a bit more trust because he's expensive, but I think people will be reluctant to captain a defender, and Rice maybe doesn't have that same like killer appeal that some people look for.
You say that, you wait. When they pick team and it's got those two fixtures underneath, everybody does it. Yeah,
true. Yep. Right, let's take a look at some of our fixture predictions. You'll notice a new screen, which you demonstrated very nicely, I thought, on the last one. Actually, I'll just come to that quickly. So the website that we used to do for predictions for Patreon members has been completely rebuilt. So massive shout out to Kieran for that. You can see a bit of a demo of it on the screen. It's really slick. We've got a really cool predictions league. We've got a trophy for the winner. For anyone that used to play goal scorer challenge, unfortunately they stopped doing that this year. So we've built in a sort of a goal scorer challenge for the rest of the season too. So you can pick a player to score and then you can't pick them again. There'll be some prizes for that. We've got loads of analytics and stats about who you've picked and your predictions and how good you are at predicting certain teams and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's just really cool. I really like how it's been built out. I mean, massive shout to Lee and Liv who got us started with it all, and obviously now it's moved to like a new server and we've got kind of new bells and whistles on it. So if you're interested, give the QR code a scan, join the Patreon. You can get involved in the league, get involved in the WhatsApp chat. You're probably a bit late to win any of the prizes now, but you can support the stream.
Might beat
and
Luke.
Get involved. You might beat Luke. Yeah, he never bloody does it. Yeah, you're probably right.
Join us if you can beat Luke. It's genuinely really cool, and it's one of those things where some weeks FPL kind of takes a back seat, and we're talking about the predictions.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's a really good thing in the chat.
Kieran, proper lovely bloke as well. Really lovely bloke, and he's so quick to just help and listen to what to do to change bits of it. But the website is genuinely brilliant.
Yeah, and honestly, Goal Scorer Challenge was one of my favourite tools. I was gutted when it wasn't happening this season. Yeah. So. I'll see. Obviously, it comes back next year. I'll have to have a chat with the guy to see if we're going to continue it as well. But yeah, if that has gone, then I'd love to continue the legacy of that because I love that game so much. It's just so simple. Just pick a player. Do they score? Yes or no? Get the points. Can't pick them again. It's genius. Fixtures then. So Leeds Forest. It's the Friday game. It's the Friday deadline. Don't forget tomorrow. And straight away, Andy and I have gone for different predictions. I've gone for a Forest win. I saw Mark the other day. I was feeling sentimental. Went for a pizza in Brighton. It was very nice. And he asked me what my prediction was for Leeds Forest. And I said, I'll gone for Forest. I've gone for a 2-1 for Forest. You've gone the opposite. You've gone for a 2-1 Leeds. You heartless bastard.
Yeah, I think Leeds at home. I want them to pick up a point here, so or at least at least a point. But I reckon they could maybe do it on this one. And it's a Friday night fixture as well, which don't always go the way we think. So I'm going to go for a Leeds win.
Manchester United versus Spurs. We've both gone for another Carrick win, a 2-1. This must be nice. Just Man United, just good now, winning games, and confidence is back.
It seems to be. I mean, it helps that Spurs are obviously struggling a bit, but they did come back against City. Solanke back makes a big difference for them. So I'm not expecting us to keep a clean sheet. This could be another 3-2, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. It's annoying, isn't it? Because this is where I think just having Bruno isn't enough, because everyone's cottoned onto it so quickly, and having an Mbeumo or a Cunha, if he's going to start, someone like that would be great. But yeah, it's hard to know who to get. Arsenal Sunderland. Comfortable win, and you're good at predicting Sunderland. I think you're top, aren't you? Top of the.
I am. Yeah.
Top of the predictions. Yep.
Yeah. Everybody always says, "Oh, Sunderland are a really hard team to play against." They are when they're at home. Away from home, they are genuinely terrible. So yes, and Shaq is still out as well. By the way, I don't know whether he's out for this weekend again, but he's still out, and that's a massive loss. So yeah, I'm 2-0 Arsenal easy for me.
Yep, timber brace after everything I've said. I'd love that.
Oh my God, I would not.
I would love that, and you'd hate it, and you'd be so right and vindicated.
Raya brace.
It's got to happen. Bournemouth versus Villa. I've gone for a 1-1 here. You've gone for a 2-1 Bournemouth. That would not be good for Villa's title charge.
Yeah, I know. I've mentioned Villa once or twice this stream. I think they are struggling a little bit at the moment. They brought in Douglas Luiz and Tammy Abraham, who at least they've tried to plug some of the gaps of the injuries they've got. I struggle with Villa at the moment, so I'm going to go with Bournemouth.
It's really weird, isn't it, for a team to be doing that well and to have had so much flux in who they've sold, losing key players, and obviously hadn't been helped with the injuries and things, but like a completely different team, and trying to get them. He'll do well to get them top 4, I think, given the changes and injuries they've had.
Yeah, I think they still will, because there's a little bit of a gap before United, aren't there? And obviously they do have some big teams chasing after him. So yeah, I think he's just a quality manager.
Yep. Burnley West Ham. Dubravka owners might be confident in a clean sheet here, but we've both gone for a 1-0 West Ham.
Yeah, Bowen goal.
Yeah. Fulham Everton. I've gone for a 1-0 Fulham. You've gone for a 2-1 Fulham.
Yeah, I'd be happy with 1-0. Get some Anderson points.
Yeah. I don't know whether to play Tarkowski or Senesi this week. Yeah. And my predictions don't help because I've got them both to concede.
Fulham aren't bad at home, are they?
No, they're good. I like Fulham. I think Bournemouth have got a slightly higher chance of keeping a clean sheet, I think, in that game than Everton, but yeah, it's close. But then Everton kept that clean sheet away at Villa, didn't they? I don't think anyone really saw that happening. Wolves Chelsea, both gone for 2-1 to Chelsea.
Yeah, I think we were just talking about the defence. I think Wolves will score. So
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Newcastle Brentford. I've gone for a Newcastle win 2-1. You've gone for a 1-1.
Just realised how many games are on at 3 o'clock. By the way, it's quite nice, isn't it? Is it 5 of them? Usually it's only about 3 at the moment. So Newcastle Brentford. Did you say?
It's because I'm not doing some stupid, boring Monday night game. Normally it'd be like Burnley West Ham Monday night, wouldn't it? It'd be like, oh, for God's sake, at least they're getting that out of the way.
By the way, I wouldn't be that surprised if Brentford win that game. Newcastle are a shell of what they were at the beginning of the season. I really don't fancy Newcastle whenever I see their fixtures. Gordon's now out as well. Hamstring, wasn't it, midweek? So, yeah, I put 1-1, but I could easily see Brentford winning that.
Yep. Brighton Palace, the big one, the big game, the big rivalry.
Derby.
Biggest derby in the league, without a shadow of a doubt. And of course, we're going to win it 2-1. This is a great time to play Palace, which does worry me.
Yes. I got taught a while ago, this was by Helen in my chat, saying Brighton never win the games you expect them to win.
Yep.
And that's this game I'm looking at thinking it's a good time.
I just hope we win. I mean, conceding, Hertzler will be livid about conceding that goal because, he spent a lot of money. He's been able to mould the team in his own image, and we're not really anywhere near the European places. Yeah. We don't look like we've got a chance of doing it. But that, what we need is a bit of a run just to get us going, a couple of wins, and then suddenly you're right back up there. And you can see the 97th minute goal to bloody Everton at home. It's so frustrating. I really hope we win this one. Saar worries me.
I think, by the way, Peter says, is that match a derby?
Yes.
Brighton and Palace?
It's the big one. The
Look
big
it up.
derby.
Look it up.
And we haven't mentioned Sarr. I know he's been quite popular, and the models like him because he took the penalty, didn't he?
He did. I'm not overly convinced he'll still have them when Strand Larsen comes in, but I think Strand Larsen will take a little while to settle in terms of minutes wise. So yeah, I think Strand Larsen could demand to have them maybe a little bit, but Sarr being on them, and Sarr's always been a good pick in terms of what he returns. So yeah,
Nikolai, it's the M23 derby, the road something derby,
the biggest M ever.
Everyone knows about the M23 derby. And then the final game is a really fun one on Sunday. Hopefully, Liverpool versus Man City. We've both gone for plenty of goals on this. I've gone for 2-2. You've gone for a 2-1 to Liverpool. That would be cat amongst the pigeons in the title race.
I genuinely feel quite confident about that. I think this will be the weekend where it's Arsenal's now. I think City will struggle to beat Liverpool, and I think Arsenal will comfortably beat Sunderland, and that'll be it.
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't hold back, Andy.
No, I'm not going to sit on the fence here.
These are the standings. So you're doing well. You're up to 5th. You had a good week last week, better than mine. You've kind of, just like you have done in your FPL team, you're getting away from me a bit on these scores. But can you beat Hesmo? Can Hesmo do it 2 years in a row and win the Predictions League?
He's a little bit ahead as well. I don't like this.
He's a machine.
Mercurial Squid was the one I wanted to catch, and I've left him in my dust, so it's all about getting Hesmo now. But Jobalob, I think, is the next nice name I'd like to scalp, and then Hesmo, I'll be coming for the big lad in game week 36, 37, I reckon.
Or Jobalob will be gutted, which is a great sentence, because he's got an identical points per game to Hesmo, but he's made fewer predictions. So the only reason he's losing to Hesmo is because he hasn't always put his picks in.
So he can win the per 90 trophy. We can give him
that classic per 90 trophy that we're definitely not doing. I'm down in 9th. Don't even ask where Luke is. I don't think he's done his predictions in about 10 weeks. Naughty, naughty boy. We've covered captains. Let's go to your team first. What are you thinking?
Yeah, pretty easy for me this week. So I've got Raya in goal. I'm having to play Mukiele away to Arsenal, which I don't even think is going to be that good for Defcon, but there you go. Gabriel and Anderson, with Anderson, Rogers, Saka, who's obviously injured, Enzo Fernandez, Bruno Fernandes, captain, with Ekitike and Haaland up top. I could get a few goals out of Ekitike and Haaland. That's what I'm hoping. Currently, Krupi Jr. is benched. Now, the only reason I haven't moved yet is because I wanted a bit more information, because there's 2 ways I could go. I either, which sounds a bit silly now, but I could do it, I could bench Saka and not have to make that move yet and roll my transfer and just play Krupi, and then move Saka out next week with an extra week's worth of information for the Arsenal double game week. Because, for instance, if Rice gets injured this week, so I'm knackered again. So I could do that, or I just do Saka to Rice, but it means benching Krupi, which I don't love at all because he's at home to Villa. But I don't think Villa really have it in them to get destroyed by Bournemouth. And Krupi still only plays 70 minutes every single week. Even if he scored a goal, he only plays 70. So, yeah, I think I've just moved Saka to Rice. And that'll be it for me. And then I've got Raya, Gabriel and Rice for the double game week. I think that's fine. And then in 26, I would have, what would I have, about 2 million in the bank? And then I'd sort one of O'Reilly or Dorgo out.
Yeah.
Dorgo most likely.
I think Saka to Rice just makes sense.
Yeah, it sounds boring because it makes the most sense. If I was in a vacuum and I didn't have any information around, I'd do that move. So
yeah, no, I like it. I made my moves. I'm opposite position to you. I just did them. There was players going up. I didn't have Gabriel. It had to be addressed. So I've got Verbruggen, Gabriel, Timber, Senesi, Fernandez, Enzo's come in for Saka to fund the Gabriel move. I did Chow out for Gabriel. Chow's been a really funny one. He got me 17 points one week, -1 the next. He's just been a really weird signing. Yeah. I think ultimately I'm happy with it, but he hasn't really done that well. I've got Rice already in place. I've got Anderson. I've got Haaland, Thiago, and Ekitike. I've got Tarkowski on the bench, who I'm not too happy about benching. Like I said, it's between him or Senesi. I could bench Thiago, but I think, given what you said about Newcastle, I think I agree with that. I wouldn't massively surprise me if they just fell apart and he got a couple of goals in that. So I'll probably keep him. I'm relatively happy with this team. I think it's broadly fine. The key thing is going to be, I think, genuinely the next 3 or 4 weeks. That's going to be if I can come through the next 3 or 4 weeks and be somewhere in and around the top million, then I should hopefully go on and have an all right season. But if I'm still stuck at 2.3 million after 4 weeks, then it's game over.
Let's just get you back to the top 1 million, mate. Let's get you there
nice.
and see what we can do.
That'd be nice. I mean, our teams are very similar. We've got Thiago versus Rodgers, Verbruggen versus Raya.
Yeah.
And then
Timber versus Anderson.
Versus Anderson. Yeah. Not a huge amount of difference. BlackBox League. Shout out to Henry, who was the former world number 1 when he was early in the season. Very good week for him. I'm not sure if he's back up to number 1, but he must be close. 82 points, 1,593 points.
Yeah.
Not even on 1,200 yet. Mike Almond's in second. Old Cohen in third. Jamie McDonald in fourth. Yeah, I know. Jennifer Price in fourth. Mark's 100 points ahead of me, and he's not even doing that well. So embarrassing. Stan Tox is sixth. David Bellingham is in seventh. Mahesh Sharma in eighth. Ollie Frederick in eighth, joint eighth, and then Jack Neal in 10th. And a shout out. Oh, he is number 1. Congratulations, Harry. And our Godfather League. Kieran, the man himself, FPL Discomfort, is top with 1,495. He's having a very good season. Benjamin Lund in second. Angus Chow in third. Stuart Thompson in fourth. Paul Jacobs in fifth. Paul Norris in sixth. Hesmo himself is in seventh. Nathan Jobling in eighth. Ryan Middleton in ninth. And Jeff Turner in 10th. And some really good scores across the board for lots of them. We've had a couple of super chats, Andy.
Yes.
That's nice. We had one very early on from Tian Sibritz, who says, sell Chow to Calafiori, 0.6 in the bank, or take a -4 to sell Cunha to do the upgrade to Timber or Gabriel. Mid of Semenyo, Cunha, Bruno, Enzo and Rice. Haaland, Nekatike up front. See, the difficulty here is I don't like the Chow to Calafiori move, but I also don't like selling Cunha at home to Spurs.
I would roll, personally. I'd roll and then do the moves next week.
I'd roll and do the moves next week.
Yeah.
I think that's very sensible advice. Very sensible advice. Yeah, I wouldn't do an inferior move. I definitely wouldn't take that hit.
That midfield's lovely this week.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'd keep it. I think that team looks really nice. I mean, you're playing Mukiele away at Arsenal, so if you can do that, just play Chow and hope for Defcons. Shivam says start one of Cash, Richards, or James Justin. Will Justin definitely play?
He's been playing, yeah. He's doing all right actually as well.
I like him as a player. He only played 45 against Arsenal.
I'd play Richards personally.
Who have they got?
They've got Brighton, but obviously Richards will get Defcon. So, yeah, I think I'd play Richards and hope for 3 or 4 points.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's a sensible answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just biased because I'm a Brighton fan. Yeah, Richards is probably the best one. I think if you get a league and Justin starts, I'd play him.
I mean, what we expect him with all those 3, they're all going to probably get 2 points. So if Richards has got a chance to get 3 or 4, I think he's the one.
But I think if they all start, I think Justin at home to Forest has probably got the best chance of a clean sheet, and he is quite attacking.
Tachion in the chat. There's so many people in the chat that haven't heard of these cheap defenders.
James Justin. No, it's Tachion again.
It's all these James players. James Hill, James Justin.
James Justin was at Leicester, and he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was very good for one season.
Yeah, he was playing wing back, wasn't he, for a while? He used to get the odd goal. And the final super chat is from the Mesmic, who says O'Reilly replacement. Yeah, it's a good week to get rid of O'Reilly, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you would probably think you need to get on an Arsenal defender, especially because they got Sunderland at home and then the double. But if you've already got Gabriel, I think Timbers, you need to wait to see whether we get any news tomorrow on Timber, but I doubt you will because of Arteta. So if you don't get on that, I think you probably go for Senesi moving forward, like we've already said. I think he's probably the best bet because you're going to want to keep him up until 30-31. So,
would you go Senesi over Hill then, if you could afford it?
Oh, yeah. I think I would. But just for security. Like, I think James Hill is fine as a medium-term hit, but Senesi you could genuinely keep until the end of the season now.
I would probably go for a Chelsea defender.
Would you?
Yeah.
Which one then? Chalobah?
Just Chalobah.
But
I mean, just get Chalobah for 3 weeks.
That isn't a direct O'Reilly replacement in terms of you'd need money in the bank for that, wouldn't you?
Would you?
Chalobah's 5.7, isn't he?
Chalobah is 5.7, but isn't O'Reilly about 5.5 as well? Oh, O'Reilly's 5. Bloody hell, he's gone down. Yeah. He was about 5.4 at one point.
I only know that because I've kept him the whole time.
Went down to 5.3. Okay, well, if you've got a bit of money in the bank, go to Chalobah. There's no other Chelsea defender. I wouldn't go Cucurella or risk one of the centre backs or anything like that. I think I probably agree with you. I think you go to Senesi, but it's not a great week for Senesi.
Yeah, Villa at home. Again, it's Defcon, isn't it? Like, walks away with 3-4 points.
I think if you've got like a cheap, even if you've got like a Goodmanson or an E-Steve or someone like that, I reckon you probably just roll and just play one of them and then deal with it next week. I don't think you need to be bringing in a Bournemouth defender this week.
I mean, a Leeds defender's fine. If you've got E-Steve, that's fine this week.
That's
as well.
what I mean. You've probably got at least one cheap defender, so I'd probably just play them. Unless it's like Alderete or Mukiele, and you probably don't want to play them against Arsenal. But if you can get away with it, I'd probably just try and roll. Nice one. Good to be back, Mr. North.
No late tackle this week. Deadline
no
tomorrow
late tackle.
night.
Yeah, Friday night. And some good news. Luke will be joining me on BlackBox on Monday. Because obviously you'll have the Scoutcast.
I will indeed. Also, we're going to be competitors.
Going to be competitors.
Although, what time are you streaming? Because we'll be 9:15.
No, we'll try and... It depends what time Luke can do. If Luke can do like 7:30, then we'll try and finish before you.
Oh, and send them all over, mate. Send them all over.
That's just the kind of guy I am.
Lovely stuff.
What can I say? No, it was really nice to be back. Good to see so many of you in the chat. Thanks for watching. Do give us a like if you haven't already. Do check out the Patreon as well. And get involved in all the things going on over there. I haven't mentioned Scout, but if you've enjoyed all of the tables that we've shown and all the stats and everything, it's actually a really good time to join Scout because they've got some offers on over there. So check out fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, or you can zap the QR code on the screen. They're bringing in a model of their own, a solver. So you can use that to assess your decisions and things. And if you're not familiar with them by now, what are you doing? Go over to the site, check out all the amazing articles being written. There'll be press conference, news and updates, injuries and all things like that to follow. So make sure you check out the site and the YouTube channel as well.
Got a few good channels on there. A few good streams.
Very good streams. And the Scoutcast is on there as well.
Thank you.
Which is nice. But yeah, good to see you all. And we will be back. Oh, well, Luke and I'll be back on Monday, and Andy and I will be back at some point in the future.
Yeah. Cheers.
See ya.